World Cup. Let's get to the World Cup. So you have that season, and then Bert van Marwijk, you come onto his radar. Ange goes, Bert comes in. When did you know that you were a chance of playing in the biggest thing there is in probably definitely football, but sport as well?
I got a call from Luke Casserly probably about 3 weeks before they announced
From the FFA?
Yeah, from the FFA, before they announced the squad for Turkey. And he kind of said, what are you thinking? Australia, Iran, what's going on? We want to take you to Turkey for the pre-World Cup camp. And then I was like, I don't kind of know where this question popped up. I got asked the question once in the media, and they're like, do you want to play for Iran, Australia? And I was kind of like, oh, I haven't really thought about it. And then everyone's like, oh, he wants to play for Iran. He wants to play for Iran. I mean, I grew up here, so obviously I was always going to end up playing for Australia. And when I got that call, I was like absolutely buzzing. But then I didn't really hear much again for the rest of the 3 weeks. So then I was like, oh, maybe they've changed their mind. Like, what's going on? And then they announced the squad, and I was in it, and I was just buzzing. It was unbelievable.
So did Iran ever get in contact with you?
Not directly, but I think they said a couple of things through like social media, but
nothing official, nothing through your agent, your parents, or anything like that.
No, nothing official. No.
Yeah, it's weird when you're a footballer and you answer a question, you think you're just being honest.
Yeah.
It's all sport as well.
Yeah.
And you leave a little open-ended hook on it.
Yeah.
And people take the hook. Do you find that you have to be especially careful about what you say and where it could lead?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, in that case, it was harmless because it was just like caused a little bit of controversy, but it wasn't anything negative. But I think with some things, you definitely got to be careful with what you say because it's like could be taken the wrong way.
You're going all right in this half hour so far, so yeah, we haven't got off the rails.
I've been training
too much. Yeah, you have. You have. With Iran then, so it was never in your thought to go.
No, not really. Like, kind of sometimes I just like take the piss out of my dad and be like, Dad, I want to play for Iran, and he'd like get a bit raging about it, but. Apart from that, no, not really.
And that's no disrespect to any Iranians out there. I'm sure Daniel's very proud of his heritage. He's just taking the piss out of his father.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that.
No, of course not. Iran's got an unbelievable national team. Like, we know that as well. They beat Syria 5-0. I still watch their games. I support them, you know. And, like, I enjoy watching their games. But for me, I've just always felt like I was Australian more than I was Iranian.
So you get into camp. You get into with Turkey. You got your big younger brother there in Tim Cahill, big because he's older than you, but younger. I think he's on about the same page as you in terms of enthusiasm about everyday life. Did that help, having Timmy around and guiding you through things?
110%. Yeah. I mean, I think for a couple of the older boys in the Socceroos, when I first went in, it was a little bit of a shock because everyone's like, oh, this kid's coming in for his first camp, hasn't really been on any national team, like camps beforehand, it's a World Cup, he's going to be like shitting himself. And I was like, pardon the French, but I was just like kind of came in, I was just doing my thing, like having banter with Timmy, and everyone's just like, whoa. But I think it really helped having him there because it kind of gave me like a bit of leeway because I had like kind of Timmy backing me up. He was really good, yeah.
What was about those 3 weeks, what was the one thing that stood out to you about being in that environment, playing in those games in front of that amount of people watching?
How normal it was.
Really?
Yeah, like, it wasn't, like, disappointing. I wasn't like, oh, I expected it to be better, but it was just, like, it wasn't absurd either, you know? Like, you're just kind of walking out on the field, and then, like, when we played France, and then, like, Pogba and Mbappe are there, and it's just kind of, like, they're really just normal people. Like, you know, Pogba's big, but, like, he's real big. But, like, they're still just, like, normal people, you know? That was the weirdest thing for me, to be honest.
Did you expect much in terms of minutes at the World Cup? Or was Bert like one of those coaches who says nothing just to keep you on your toes?
Says nothing. Said absolutely nothing to me. I didn't expect, but I hoped. You know, I wanted to play. But I think everyone hopes to play at a World Cup. I think that's just normal. But, yeah, definitely didn't expect any minutes.
What was Bert like in camp in terms of getting the most out of you personally and the team as a footballer?
He was really good. He was... the tactics that we employed at that World Cup, I think that's the best team I've ever played in defensively. The way we used to play, like we had the 2 lines and then like depending on where the ball was, we'd shift, one would drop in and cover. And I think we were really good defensively that game. And I think it's really like clear in the game against France. The first game, I think they really struggled to break us down. They didn't really create any attacks on their own. They got a little bit jammy, obviously, with their last goal as well. The 2-1 with the Pogba just like flicked it with his foot and then came off Aziz's foot and went over the keeper. It was really unlucky.
Mm.
And yeah, I think he was a really good coach. He was really smart with the way he dealt with the older players as well, and kept everyone motivated and everyone on their toes.
How? In what way? Like he treated the older players different to you guys, like the younger guys, like a young guy like you yourself, barely capped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he definitely saved me one time. Um, the game before France, we had a team meeting, and I was a little bit late to the team meeting, like
Oh,
the
really?
day before the game.
Oh, dangerous.
Yeah, it was really bad. I was in my room, and I was just kind of chilling, and then I hear like a loud knock on my door, and Timmy's like, "Get dressed. We're like, the boys are downstairs. We've got a meeting right now." I was like, "Why are you taking the piss for? Like, relax. I'm sleeping." And then he's like, "Mate, I'm telling you, we've got a meeting downstairs." And he just turned around and sprinted out. And I was like, "That's a bit weird." And then my room was across the hall from like the common area where everyone would chill out. So I kind of stuck my head out, and no one was there. It was dead. I was like, "Oh shit." I quickly chucked my clothes on and put my socks in my pocket, and I was sprinting into the room, and everyone was already in, and everyone was kind of just looking at me.
Ooh.
And I was like, I knew I was a minute late. I checked the time before I went in. And then Marwijk looks at his watch and he goes, "Just on time. Lucky."
Oh, you were late.
I was late, yeah.
You were late
I was late. He saved me. Big time.
because you knew that you were perhaps going to save him the next afternoon.
Nah,
Perhaps coming off
nah,
the
nah.
bench.
It's just like, it's just good like that. Like, he knew, like, for a young player, sometimes you get nervous, you make mistakes like that, especially first time in camp, and he kind of just covered for me.
Well, it wasn't nerves. You've just been a bludger.
No, I wasn't being a bludger. You know what? It was actually really weird because I used to obsessively read the program because
Yeah.
when I was young, I always used to be late to stuff at the Joey's camps, and Tony Vidmar used to be my coach, and he used to hate it. So I became really like obsessive with like reading the program, making sure I was always on time and everything. And I remember reading this program like 2 or 3 times, and I did not see team meeting there. I swear to God, I still to this day it was not on that sheet. But
Oh, well, all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
What's it like when you're sitting on a bench and then the coach in a World Cup game says, "You're on, take the bib off," or
exciting.
calls you back from the warm-up? How did it work out? How did it work for you, and what was going through your head?
So it was kind of like you just go and warm up in groups, and then I think when it gets towards the end of the game, like you just stay warm throughout the game, and then when it gets towards the end of the game, he kind of just picks who goes out, and then he I actually don't remember. Wow.
Mm.
I think he just like someone told me to go warm up. I went and warmed up, and then he called me back. He's like, "You going on?" I was like, "All right."
So with the style of player that you are, in that point of the game where we're chasing the game, and it happened the next time you came on, or we weren't chasing the game when you came on against Denmark, but we certainly were against Peru.
Yeah.
So does he give you instruction, or is it, "Daniel, I've seen your talent, just go out and play"?
Yeah, that's kind of what he said to me. He was just like, he's like, "Just go out and do your thing. I want you to attack and take risks." So that's kind of what I did.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Seems pretty simple.
Yeah.
And did it feel like a different kind of experience, different game, or was it, "Oh, this is pretty normal, it's just football"?
Definitely. I think the compared to the other games I played, I think the World Cup games were a lot more open. I think there was more space to attack. I don't know if the fields were bigger or because people were playing more like very positional and like defensive, but like when you get on the ball, it felt like you had a lot more time.
Mm.
Yeah.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. It's so good. Grass is perfect. You can do whatever you want with the ball.
Bet you didn't enjoy it as much as the fans did. It's Russia. 3 weeks in Russia. It's
Yeah.
good fun.
My brother told me it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Did he tell you everything?
Oh, he told me some stories. Yeah. Couple involving you.
Well, no. We had fun. We had fun. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
Within reason. We didn't get ridiculous,
Yeah.
but we had an enjoyable time. When you say it was so normal, go back to the Matildas now. So we're sitting here in Australia while the Matildas, they've obviously, and as we sit here right now, they've not played their second game. They've dropped the first game against Italy. Things haven't gone well. So there's a lot of debate amongst fans about how we should be playing, what's going on. The added thing about the Stagic thing, which we won't get into, about the coaching situation. But my point is, when you're in a World Cup, because there was this huge furor about Bert not playing Timmy, especially against Denmark, like just, and getting you on earlier as well. There's this massive debate. It got onto like general sports people who don't ordinarily go near football, started talking about these subjects as such. So my point is about the Matildas, they're going through that now. Does that infiltrate the camp? Does that infiltrate what's going on inside the 4 walls of a team environment at a big tournament?
That's a very good question. I mean, for me, being a young player in that camp, I don't think I was privy to those things as much as the older players were and the discussions that they had. I think in the general vibe of the camp, it didn't really affect anything. I didn't really, I couldn't really tell any like fights or a bit of tension coming between anyone. I think Timmy also dealt with it really well. He kind of came out into the group, I think, a couple times and said, listen, whether I'm playing or not, we got to do our thing. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll deal with me. You guys got to focus on the games. Like, no problem. And I think him coming out and saying that actually helped the situation a lot. He was really good in camp. Yeah, I don't know really.
Yeah, no, I'm just interested about like a lot of noise goes on at a World Cup, obviously.
Yeah.
With reason, because it's the biggest tournament there is going around for a national team. But I'm just interested to know how much gets in and how much the players take on board, or they're just there to play football and they're robots.
I mean, everyone's got phones now. People read social media. People know what's going on outside.
Do you read much about? Do you like go on the Twitter search and type in your name? And
No. My dad actually gets angry at me for that. He goes like, "Do you know what's going on with the Socceroos?" I'm like, "No, I don't really know." He's like, "You should go on the website and read it twice a day." I'm like, "Why?" But yeah, like I kind of just do my own thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are players who are like obsessed with it. Like they just kind of like want to know what everyone's saying about them nonstop. Boom, 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 check. But I think with the Socceroos camp, like I said before, I don't remember it having too much of an effect on people.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Different.